By now, you probably already know we're pretty big proponents of physical media. In today's episode, we're going to talk about 3 prime examples of where digital media, it just didn't get things right. What are we drinking today?
Today we're drinking Coffee and Cream Milk Band by Confluence Brewing Company. This is a straightforward milk stout.
All right, you know the drill. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell icon so you never miss one of our bi-weekly uploads. And sit back, relax, pour yourself an adult beverage if you care to, and let's talk about some things that we just can't get on digital media that we could if it was on physical.
Kevin out over here, and I want you to sit back, relax, pour yourself a beer if you care to, and enjoy this episode of Gaming Off the Grid.
As we said in the intro, we're obviously big collectors of physical media. From, you collect vinyl, I collect VHS. We kind of both collect a little bit of each of those on our own, and then games, obviously. But there's more of a reason to that than just wanting to collect and hoard all this physical media. The digital age is here. It's here to stay. There's no going back. But there's a lot of very concrete examples of where there are drawbacks where you can't get content on streaming, or you could at one point,
and now
it's no longer available. So we're going to kind of break this down into movies, music, and video games, the 3 prime examples, and there's tons of other examples.
Yes, this is just what we know of.
Yeah, and just to make this a quick, snappy video, we're leaving a lot of things off, but you're going to get the idea from what we're talking about. So you're kind of a movie buff. You want to take off on the movie.
Let's start with movies. And I think the biggest one in this movie category is Star Wars. So the original edit of Star Wars, you can't get anywhere because George Lucas decided to change it. That doesn't make sense.
Now, for hardcore Star Wars fans, I think it's a pretty big deal. For the casual viewer, I would say probably not such a big deal, but there's more to this to me. The ability to alter films and people to never be able to see the original format. Now, that's happened with movies other than Star Wars. That's just a great example. And if you find those original VHS tapes out there, which they're really hard to find, but there's a ton of value, they're really hard to find. And I think it just speaks to how many things potentially could get changed or edited or things down the line.
And people don't know, Obviously they edit things for TV viewing purposes, so they're already doing that. Like on streaming services, there could be thousands of movies or TV shows where they cut things out and you're like, you don't even notice.
And there's tons of examples of this happening. I know Billy from the Game Chasers actually has a video where he talks about like all these type of film edits that are in there. But I think this is a big one. And then there's so many movies that are good quality films that people can't currently watch. They're just not out there on streaming services. Now, some of these aren't great. I'm going to bring up one that's kind of funny, but Spice World.
Ooh.
That's kind of a cultural staple from the 90s.
From the 90s.
The Spice Girls were huge. The Super Mario Brothers movie. Now,
these aren't great movies.
I'm not saying that's a great movie, but you can't watch that movie anywhere. You got to find the DVD or VHS.
I mean, I kind of understand why they're trying to hide that. It's not but still.
There are some good ones, though. Cocoon.
Ooh, that's a
How are you going to watch Cocoon?
Movie.
Amazing movie. Angels in the Outfield.
Oh, that's a sweet one. And then, Model Behavior. That's just Justin Timberlake, and it sells for so much on VHS.
Yeah, and so it's like you don't have an open catalog, and you wonder if some of these films that weren't major blockbusters. I mean, shit, up until, I think this year, Arnold Schwarzenegger's True Lies. You couldn't watch it anywhere.
Yeah, and then I think Apocalypto didn't get added to streaming until like a year ago.
I think that's
which is
all plays into that. And that's a 2006 movie. True Lies did great at the box office. I think that made over $200 million.
Now, in 2 years, could these movies be on streaming? Yes.
By the time this video comes out, they could be on
streaming. Or some of the movies that we didn't mention could be taken off of streaming. Yeah. Like The Office just got taken off of Netflix. Yeah. It moved to a different streaming platform, but still, they can just take things away.
It's just kind of like, man, it is really convenient. I think you have Netflix, I have the WWE Network. We kind of do whatever we do and watch things in the background. But, God, it is just kind of weird and scary, the lack of access you have to certain things. And then, when you only have access to a version that they want you to see, it just kind of speaks to why if there's something you really, really like, you might want to get it in physical form. Now we're going to jump into music. This is the second prime example of things just not being available. I know one that might not ring a bell for a lot of you, but one of our favorite bands together is Local H. Yep. Their best album, in my opinion,
not from
a commercial standpoint, but it's just a great piece of work, is not available anywhere, and the CD sells for a ton of ching-ching with Whatever Happened to PJ Souls.
God, it's probably their best work. I love the way it sounds. It's such a great album. There's so many great songs, and it's not on anything. Yeah. And I know, obviously, it's because of red tape and label stuff like that, but it's like, man, if you're just listening to bands on Spotify or on Apple Music, you're not going to know this band's greatest work.
Yeah,
like,
and
that's crazy.
Tons of examples of albums that are not available on streaming. We're not Garth Brooks fans, but it was just until 2020 where his stuff was all uploaded to Amazon, I believe.
Yep.
But for the longest time, you couldn't listen to old Garth Brooks on any streaming service. But kind of circling back to them changing the Star Wars films and that being all you have access to, this next one in the music realm really drives me crazy, and it lands in the realm, and this will hit home with a lot of you, of movie soundtracks.
Yes, we love soundtracks.
Yeah, so bring up the Home Alone soundtrack. Then look at the actual track listing on the CD. They are different.
Yeah, if you go to play it, you don't notice it.
Yeah.
But it's missing songs.
So that one is like that. The Escape from LA soundtrack is missing songs. It's missing Cut Me Out from the Toadies is not on Escape from LA. And then the Cable Guy soundtrack, which is one of my favorite movie soundtracks of all time.
It has such a great soundtrack.
It's fantastic. I believe there's a Cracker song missing from it,
Yes.
which is an amazing song.
It's an amazing song. Toadie's Unattractive is missing from it. Like, you pull it up on Spotify and there's like 4 or 5 songs. It's like, that's not the soundtrack.
Yeah, it's crazy. And that Cracker song, Get Out of My Head, it's a crazy good song. And you already mentioned Unattractive is also another crazy good song. But it's so strange to me that they post these out there and there's no like asterisk saying songs are missing. Sometimes if you look at the track number, you'll notice that there is a missing track. But that's very frustrating. You think you're listening to it. So some kid out there that maybe was born a little bit after you, maybe 98, he's just discovering Home Alone. He's listening to the soundtrack and he's not getting the goddamn soundtrack.
And he doesn't know any better.
And
going back to another movie that we love from the 90s, Dumb and Dumber, the Dead-Eye Dick song's not on streaming. Like, that's a great track.
Yeah, and is that the Mary Mo?
Yeah, I love that song.
She's a vegetarian. I'm probably gonna get copyright flagged for that. Hopefully my singing was piss poor. But I know one thing: she doesn't eat meat, but she sure like to bone.
Yes, right. I love that song.
So those are prime examples, and it is just frustrating to me when artists or whoever composes, whether it be an album or a soundtrack, they usually structure it in a flow.
Yeah, that's why I love records.
You listen to them, and that's how it's supposed to be experienced, and there's shit missing from it. That one really gets me fired up. You know, I'm not a big enough Star Wars fan to get super rattled. It's alarming to me, but it doesn't really like hit home. But the soundtrack one drives me crazy. And then this next thing we're going to talk about really drives me nuts.
I want to talk about one more album, though, before we go real quick. 21 Pilots, Regional at Best. It's like one of their, I think it's their second album, is not on streaming. They don't even have physicals anymore. Like, they got rid of it. I know a lot of the songs on the album are on their later albums, but there's a couple tracks on that they never put anywhere else. Like, one of my favorite songs, Kitchen Sink, is on that album, and you can't get it anywhere.
Well,
like,
I think there's
crazy. There's so many bands like that.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. That was probably more of an indie release for them.
Yeah, so then when the label came by, they were like, you gotta re-record this, and then but it's gone.
A lot of that early day stuff just isn't out there, so that's another prime example. It just kind of sucks. Now, streaming is great because you have access to so much stuff, but it's just like, man, if you wanted to listen to the 21 Pilots catalog and see the evolution of the band,
you only have what they want you to have.
Yeah, and you can't do it unless you own the physical media, which is
sucks.
Why owning physical media is so important. Video games.
Yes.
So we're a video game channel.
Obviously.
This is probably the point of the video that you probably even fast forwarded to because you don't want to hear us blab about the other stuff. But we have other passions too, okay? But we're going to miss a ton of examples of this, but one that is most recent that drives me nuts because I'm a huge Hideo Kojima fan is PT.
Yes.
This was like the demo of what was in the works for possibly another Silent Hill game. I believe it came out in 2014 on the PS4. It's gone.
It's scraped.
People are selling old PS4s
with it on it
for a lot of money because people want to play that game. It had rave reviews for a demo, and you just can't get it. Now, there are workarounds. There are people out there probably watching this like, well, you can if you do X, Y, and Z. But the casual household, they're not going to get their hands on PT.
That made me think of one that this is a mobile game. We never talk about mobile games, but Flappy Bird. Flappy Bird was this huge, stupid game that came out, and so many people downloaded it. It's gone from the App Store, so people are selling old iPhones with it on for like thousands of dollars.
Really?
Because you can't get the game. Like, that's crazy.
It is. And then, some of the stuff that really hits home, for us. Now, this is going to be rectified, but you guys all know Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Yeah.
2D platformer was just gone forever. Now it's getting a re-release.
So like some of the games that we talked about have the potential.
I mean, by the time this episode comes out, it'll be a couple weeks out before
Yeah.
it comes out. But I also think of like the WiiWare games.
Oh, there's so many fantastic WiiWare games.
Had all those Konami Rebirth games,
which are fantastic.
There was that like Dr. Mario.
There's a Dr. Mario game.
Isn't there a Luigi game in there?
I think there's a Luigi game. Dude, there's so many ones, and the casual gamer can never find those. Obviously, we have access to them because we've done things that are under the table. But most people can't get those anymore, and they were only digital. There's so many games that are just gone.
And I know I think we've talked about it in another episode, but the PS3 store, NBA Jam on Fire Edition, which is our favorite NBA Jam game from that era, is not on the PS3 store anymore. You can still get it on the Xbox Marketplace, but on PS3 it's gone, so it's like it was there, now it's not. You can have it, no you can't.
Yeah, that's what frustrates me so much about physical or digital media is you can have it, you pay for it, and then it's like, oh, never mind. And then it's like, oh, but you have to pay for it again on this console. Oh, wait, no, it's back on this console.
Yeah,
like,
it's kind of like you're renting.
Yeah, but you're not. You pay for some of these digital things the same price.
Yep.
That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah. So anyways, those are just some really quick hitters that come to the front of our mind of reasons in 3 different worlds: music, video games, and movies, which maybe those worlds all intersect now.
They do in art. Yeah. They do in our life.
Anyways, but it's very painful, and it really sucks, and it's not pissing on streaming, because we do stream stuff
every day.
The digital age is super convenient, but man, there are some major drawbacks that I don't think a lot of people are aware of, and it really came to a head this Christmas season when Robert's like, oh, I'm going to play the Home Alone soundtrack, and when it went from one track to the other, I'm like, dude, that's not the soundtrack.
Yeah, and he like dug out the CD and we like compared them and we're like,
it's like, that's not right, dude. That's not.
I didn't notice it.
Yeah, and I was like, that's not the next song.
So I bet a lot of people don't notice it.
So
sneaky.
It is. What do you think of this brew?
This is a really good brew. So this is the Coffee and Cream Milk Stout Milkman by Confluence. Their staple beer is just the Milk Stout Milkman. This is the Coffee and Cream version. I like this a lot.
Yeah, it's really good.
Very smooth. It has that good milk stout taste to it, but with that slight taste of coffee and cream. Oh.
It's very tough anymore. I think maybe you feel the same way, to get a milk stout that really kind of moves the needle, because we've been kind of spoiled with barrel aged stuff.
Yeah.
But this is just a good coffee milk stout.
Yeah,
it's really
it's not too heavy. It's really smooth. It's creamy. It only comes in at about 5.7%, so it's a lighter stout.
Yep.
This is good. I like it a lot.
And we've sung Confluence's praises on the channel many a times. We've also kind of bashed on them a little bit because they are a very, very good brewery. So we always expect top-notch stuff because that's what they can do, and this is a very good brew.
This is up there.
Yeah.
I like this a lot, and I'm guessing that this is maybe just a seasonal release based on their flagship beer.
Yeah. Guys, it can't be stated enough how important physical media is, the preservation of it, the grabbing onto things that you know you're going to want to have access to, because it can be taken away from you, or you may be experiencing content in the non-intended form, which as an artist is got to be one of the scariest things there is.
Yeah, because they can just modify it or change it.
Yeah. And whoever put together that Home Alone soundtrack, and then now people are hearing it in its unintended form. I don't know why it bothers me so much, but it really freaking does.
The biggest thing that we talked about today that bothers me is PJ Souls.
Yeah.
That's my opinion, their best work, and no one can hear it. It's obviously on YouTube. That's how I listen to it freaking once a month. But people don't know about it.
I've still got my old dodgy PJ Souls CD, but boy,
but you can't get those.
There's a lot
so hard to find.
of miles on those tires. That disc is rough.
Trying to buy one on the internet, expensive.
Yeah,
God,
so
that album's gone.
Guys, in the comment section below, give us some other examples of times that you have ran into this, because some of the stuff we talked about today are among our favorites.
Yes.
There's probably hundreds, if not thousands, of more examples of digital media kind of shitting the bed and either altering, removing content, things like that, and why it's important to you. Maybe it's not to still have physical media around. We always appreciate you guys tuning in and subscribing to the channel. We'll see you next time right here on Gaming Off the Grid. 3 prime examples of when digital media...
Media?
Pita pet. Pita pit.
A digital pita pit.
Yeah. All right, should we give her a sniff and a lick?
Yeah.
I don't drink beer, dude. I just lick it. Like a cat.
They just lap it up.
Mm-hmm. You want to get nuts? Come on, lick my taint.
Did not expect that. Wow.
That'll get you real squirrely.
Yeah, that wake anybody up.
Freaking Thai food.
Thai food.
That's what my taint tastes like, dude.
You just dip it and dive it every morning.
Yeah.
Put a little soy sauce.
Yeah. Nasty. Dun, 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 nasty. Ba-dum, bum, ba-da-dum, nasty. All right, I'm ready here. By now, you probably know we're pretty
Bridge.
By now, you probably know.